Welcome back to another Slice Tennis podcast hosted by my guy Stephen Boughton and myself, JP Hovey, presented by Betway right up here in your top right of your screen. We are honored to be with you. The sun is out in Nashville. I don't know if it's out in Canada, but the sun is not the only thing that's out. The viewers and the subscribers are out also. That is you guys watching the show. Stephen and I, we're on a streak right now of consecutive 1,000 plus 1,000 views on our last 3 or 4 podcast episodes. And that needs to be happening every week for us to come out here and be smiling and happy. We need to keep the streak going, and we need to get to 21K. So thank you guys for watching. And if you are watching and not subscribed, please subscribe because we have an awesome show for you today. We got our Eala hour. We got the best bets of the day. We recap how Steven's right eye is not pink eye. So everybody calm down. Those allegations are not true. And then we'll get into the power outage in Madrid, Djokovic's new reality, and finally, is tennis deeper than it has ever been? And actually not finally, because we're also going to read the YouTube comments from last week. So if you want to be featured on the show, drop a comment right now. But let's go ahead and get into it. Steven, what's up with the pink eye?
Brother, like you said, false accusations, not pink eye, not a sty like Djokovic. Some people might have thought, oh, he sees Djokovic having the injured eye. Maybe he wants to go get some type of infection in there, yada, yada. No, mine was actually dumber than that. So I'm barbecuing last night, and I literally just I took this big risk of walking back in the house, missed the step, and I was holding the barbecue flipper in my right hand and the burgers in the other hand. And I'm going down, and like a true man of the house, I'm like, I'm not letting these burgers. It just
took me 10 minutes. Flipper a spatula?
Yeah, like a spatula, but it's like the metal one with the serrated edge, like that you could, it's a bit of a weapon. So I fall and I put my hands out, and I think I broke the fall with the hand that had the spatula in it for the American viewers. And I'm like, I still fell, so I think my face just went into it and like doink, like poked myself right in the eyeball with this spatula that's kind of sharp. So then I hold my eye, I'm like, what just happened? And the burger's there, and I just looked down and it was like blood coming out of my eye, like onto the ground. I'm like, oh my gosh. So I opened my eye to be like, can I still see? And I can still see, but then you're just like, what just happened? So we just drove to the hospital and we got looked at, and it's all good. Little scratch on the eyeball, kind of like a little nick on either side of it, but definitely a wild, like, it's always, I've heard, like with injuries and weird things like this, if I'm surfing and I'm crashing off the top of a wave towards the rocks, I'm like, you kind of like are, you know what's about to happen, but like when you're walking upstairs, you're just not prepared. And that's usually when the most unfortunate stuff happens, I feel like, because you're just not.
This is your first dad injury. I feel like that's a very dad way to get hurt.
Yeah, something like that. And I was like, yeah, you could like Roger Federer tore his knee big time putting his kids in the bath. So you could draw some similarities there. I'd be happy with that. But yeah, first dad injury, I'd say, and a bit of a scare. I was literally like, for a second there, I was like, I just poked my eye out. I was like, I think my dad's brother had a glass eye because he popped his eye out like playing like a knives game as a kid.
Hereditary.
Something crazy. Like they were like throwing knives and like bounced like. So I'm like,
hey, we might gotta bring him on and talk about that game he was playing.
Well, yeah, well, in the afterlife, we'll do that. We'll get him on the show. My dad's pretty old, so people have moved on, but it's anyways, that was a crazy day. Still recovering for it, but the show must go on, JP.
Most important fact about that whole entire story, aside you from still having your vision, is that the burgers remained intact and the family was still fed.
Yeah.
No matter what came across your plate, came across your eye, the family eats. And for that reason, you are the ultimate provider.
I appreciate that, JP. That makes me feel good. We did go to the hospital and came back within an hour. And in Canada, that's unheard of. But apparently when your eye's bleeding, they'll get you in pretty fast. So just if you have a rolled ankle, just, you can game the system, get some blood coming out of your eye. But no, yeah, we were able to move on with the night, watch the Oilers win. Crazy comeback night for them. So that was awesome. Yeah, that's about it. Election today in Canada, so we'll see what happens.
Let's go. We obviously we don't have to get into it, but very well worded posts on Instagram on your personal account.
Yeah,
love the even shorter breakdown on your Instagram story. I was like, oh my gosh, because I feel like you really pinpointed what's going on in America pretty perfectly. So all in just one little short blurb, which is a skill to do.
I've been thinking about it a lot, so I tried my best. Appreciate
Yep.
that. But JP, what was your week like?
My week, I went to the NFL draft for the first time ever,
Whoo!
which was incredible. It was in Green Bay, which is really just a football town. All they have there is the Green Bay Packers.
Yeah.
And it
Like
was
nothing else. It's just like this is our whole. We all just camp out here and wait for these games to happen.
Green Bay Packers and cheese curds. And it was cool, man, because it's one of the best football cultures in professional football.
Yeah.
And you get to be there as these 18 or I guess 20 to 23-year-old kids are having the best day of their life because they come from all different backgrounds, which is always like the best stories out there.
Yeah.
These kids are coming from literally nothing, and now they get their millions of dollars. They get to take care of their parents, and we got
Yeah.
the chance to speak to them after they got drafted, which was awesome.
That's awesome.
And yeah, it made me wish that there's no like real way to do it, but it would be so cool if there could be some sort of like tennis draft or something,
Yeah.
one of these moments, creating a moment for the players to have. But it's I mean, you lose so much in tennis.
Yeah.
And like as we're going to get into it, as tennis deeper than it's ever been, like we got guys that are in the top 10 this year that are out of the top that are out of the top 50 the next year.
Yeah.
So it's like it's an impossible thing to emulate. Another reason why tennis is an extremely difficult sport.
Yeah. Like when those moments like Eala coming through in Miami, like that's the only kind of comparison we have. It's like Eala can be like, I can probably take care of my family now from just getting that far at one tournament.
Exactly.
Or when players get through qualifying and make a few rounds at a major, it's kind of like that.
Right. And it's nuts. I mean, these guys, the 4th overall pick, he's getting $32 million guaranteed in his first 4-year contract. So
that's different level. Yeah.
Different level. But on the topic of these contracts and the money, we do have our best bet of the day presented by Betway. Hit an ace with Betway and get up to $200 if your first bet loses, plus 50 bonus spins no matter the result. Scan the QR code on the screen or click on the link in the details section below to create an account and redeem your offer. Offer is only available for new customers. Terms and conditions apply, of course. And this offer is not available in Ontario, and you must be 19 and up. Please play responsibly.
Word. Yeah, we've got lots to look at in Madrid, which we'll talk about. We're going to get a draw update here, but Djokovic is out. Alcaraz never played. He was nursing that injury from Barcelona, but Betway does have the outright odds winners now up midway through the tournament on the men's side.
Love it.
Because they only had it women at the beginning. And I will say, Ostapenko, I led you guys wrong. JP had it right. Lost first match.
Classic, man. It's too classic. She must have drove the car there.
She must have drove the car there. Maybe she picked up her friend, a fellow countrywoman. I forget her name now. I don't have it up. But Ostapenko lost to another Latvian, which is crazy because there's
inside job.
Inside job, first round. So you called it JP. I was like, maybe she'll. She is. That's just not her identity. She's gonna be chaotic. She's gonna lose a bunch and then go out, and when she's playing the best players in the world, find her best game and go win a tournament. Go crazy like that. And then might take
if we're talking about futures, for the future, anytime she is playing against a top 5 opponent, go ahead and sprinkle some money on her because it's got some good value to it.
Correct. But on the men's side with the outrights, now that Djokovic and Alcaraz aren't there, it's like Zverev's the number 1 seed. He's still the +2, so he's at +275 to win. But I was liking Alex de Minaur.
Yeah.
Because I thought he was playing unreal in Monte Carlo. I think he lost. I forget who he lost to. I think he lost to Musetti there. But he was playing big, I thought. And these courts, the ball gets through them quicker. The elevation, it'll help his serve. And I just feel like he's been one of the best players on tour so far this year, and he just hasn't got that big title yet. So I know he's searching for that. He's playing our guy Shapovalov in the next match, who tough one for Dennis. I think Dennis has never beat de Minaur, and this is probably not the surface for him to do it. Like he could, and I think so much depends on Dennis's serve in that match.
Right.
But clay is Dennis's least favorite surface. Like he would tell you that, and so it might be tough. But but there's a lot of good options here, like Mensick +120. I don't know if you saw, but he just chopped Ben Shelton, like no problem. Trying to backing up that he's like, I'm a Masters 1000 winner, and you're not. But you got Taylor Fritz plus 1100. You got Stefanos plus 1200. Lorenzo Musetti plus 1400. I'm sorry, but what planet is Lorenzo Musetti? Unless I'm missing something here, what planet is he less of a favorite to win Madrid on clay than Taylor Fritz or Cerundolo or Jack Draper or even Casper Ruud? Like, are we not watching the same thing? Musetti made the final Monte Carlo.
Hey, this might be the play. This could be the play then.
I'm just saying we need to put when are we going to get some respect on this guy's name? I don't know. Maybe he has some problem with Madrid that I don't know about, but
you see who's playing tomorrow.
Who's he playing?
Tsitsipas.
I mean, that's sure whoever wins that match is going to get a big boost in the rankings.
Right. That could be hurting his odds right now.
True. It's a good point. That's a fair point. But anyways, yeah. If you're going to bet responsibly, get on the Betway app and do it because that is the great platform. You can click on matchups and see it, and it shows you their head-to-head and their stats. It's really unreal.
Love it. That is the best bet of the day.
That's right.
Remember, please play responsibly. And of course, next up, if you're new to the show, we have our newest segment, the Alex Eala Hour. We got to track her after the Miami run because she is a fan favorite. So this week, Steven, what is our update on Alex Eala?
Yeah, Alex Eala came into Madrid and got a win at the Masters 1000 there after getting one win in Oeiras, Portugal. She got the win over Tomava, 6-3, 6-2. Great win for her. And then she had the rematch with Iga Swiatek. And obviously, Swiatek was not looking to lose twice in a row, especially on clay to this upstart, amazing Filipino. But after the first set, Eala pulled out the first set, and it was looking good for Alex. I watched the highlights, wasn't able to watch it live, but she's standing. Eala, it's like brave. It's like warrior-like. She's standing inside the baseline to return, and sometimes well inside the baseline, and just attacking, being super aggressive on each return, and in the points being aggressive and just playing with that kind of variety left-handed spin. And then, but on her serve, it was the same thing was happening the other way. And Swiatek, as the match went on, got more and more into it. Alex ended up only winning 51% of her first serves, which is low. For contrast, Swiatek won 64% of her first serves and then 62% of her second. And Eala was at 51% and 48%. So tough when you're only winning, 1 out of every 2 points on your serve, but did go 3 sets, and she did break Swiatek multiple times. 5 times. So
right there.
Crazy. But good match from her. I think if you're an Alex Eala fan, definitely a positive tournament to take it to the next. It's no shame in losing to the number 2 seed and really the best clay court player on the WTA for sure.
And I saw that she received an award from the Philippine ambassador to Spain, where she was given the Premios Tangla Trophy, which recognizes Filipinos and Spaniards who improve the relationship between the two nations. So shout out to Alex for that. Tennis, man, can bring the world together, form some allies, build some bridges.
It truly is global, and it's like a global connector. And just the response we've seen on this podcast with all you Filipino fans here cheering on your girl is just awesome. So that's a very deserving award, I think. And we're already looking forward to where we're going to see Alex play next.
Right. Now, some places that we weren't able to see any matches, or the place we weren't able to see matches because unfortunately somebody was down there and pulled the plug on all the electricity in Madrid, causing chaos in the city. I do think in the last couple of hours it's come back on.
Okay.
But before the show, Steven, I feel like you gave us an alternative of what the players could do, that maybe if a tournament director is listening, this could help him out in the future.
Well, it's crazy. I don't know if this has ever happened before. Widespread blackouts, plays canceled. Usually it's just rain, but this time it's a blackout. There's no electricity. And I was thinking, like, well, obviously you can't have fans there walking around in the dark inside these buildings or whatever, but all these players play junior tennis. Could they not have been like, look, we got to get these matches done, so you're just going to play, flip the score on the scorekeepers, like the little old ones on the net post. You have an umpire there, call the lines,
right?
It's clay. You can see where the ball landed and just get these matches done. And you can still have them on TV, or maybe not because the lights are out, but or the electricity is out. But it doesn't matter. We would get these done. these completed. So I thought that could happen and that could be cool. I don't know.
And it's exactly what these players wanted. We all saw Zverev upset with the electronic line judge. He pulled out his phone, took a photo. The ball mark was clearly outside of the line. Now, I did see a replay that Tennis TV put up that I was like, okay, maybe this was a little bit closer than that mark he showed us.
Could be a
But
different mark.
The ball was out.
Right.
And he's not the only player to complain. I feel like we've seen it a lot since they've moved to the full electronic lines calling. And Sabalenka, she started the wave. Zverev is the next biggest player to do it, but there's been a couple people in between them that have also pulled out their phones. And I do love the umpire's reaction when Zverev is just like, hey, just for me, can you please come look at the ball mark?
Yeah.
He's like basically saying like, hey, you don't even have to call it in my favor, but like make sure I'm not crazy when I'm saying this. And I know there's probably all these rules. Like if you're the umpire, I feel like I'm walking down there to go look and be like, look, I feel you. I'm sorry, but hey, it's calling it the same way for both guys. I can't do anything about it. But when Zverev went to go to his bag to grab his phone, the umpire's like, no, Alex, no. I'm like, what is he going to grab a gun in there? Like, he was freaking out. I'm like, dude, you just got to let this one happen, man.
You never know. I was gonna think like maybe there's a new rule where the ATP and WTA are like, do not let like it's an unsportsman. Like maybe you get a code violation for bringing out a phone and taking it like a photo on the thing. Because I feel like that joke's only funny for so long.
Exactly.
But it is the first year that they're doing the electronic line calling on the clay, so it does look like there's some big margins of error.
Right. It's actually funny with that phone thing because one time in high school soccer, I like somebody like a coach asked me because it was maybe a scrimmage or something.
Yeah.
A coach asked me to look up something on my phone. And so I was on the bench and I pulled out my phone. And after the game, my dad tore into me. He's like, who do you think you are? That's the worst sportsmanship. A few more choice words. I'm like, no, like I wasn't like on my phone. And he was pissed. So dude, even then I'm like, I'm never bringing my phone out to this field again. So that even if somebody asks, I'll be like, hey, I don't have my phone.
Yeah.
And I'm honestly shocked that I know I've seen them on their phones before after the match, but I'm shocked they bring their phone out there. I'd be leaving it in the locker.
Yeah, I think a lot of these, everyone's addicted to their phones these days, so it's they don't want to leave it out of their sight. But yeah, that's the phone. I don't know what you would call that, phone gate, clay, electronic line calling gate, or like power loss gate. Everything's going down in Madrid. Longer formats. I did notice how crazy, like Shapovalov. I'm always keeping track of the Canadian matchups. Shapovalov played his first match like yesterday, but the tournament started like 6 days ago. It feels like, and then he doesn't play again. I don't even think he was supposed to play tomorrow from today, but the power outage, maybe it'll get pushed another day.
Yeah,
these formats are so crazy.
It is nuts, man. I would not be stoked on it if I was a player.
Let's look quickly at the some of the matchups and results so far on the men's side here in Madrid. You got the round of 16 has some crazy matchups. You got Zverev versus Cerundolo, Mensik versus Bublik. Mensik beat Shelton 6-1, 6-4. So Jakub Mensik back in action, showing, I'm a Masters 1000 winner. I got that swagger. He'll play Bublik, who beat Rublev. This is a crazy scoreline. Bublik won 6-4. And then Rublev won 6-0, gave him a bagel, and then lost 6-4 again. So Bublik coming through on these faster clay courts, serving bombs, I'm sure. Yeah. Fritz is through to play Casper Ruud. I don't know if you saw this, JP, but Casper Ruud beat Sebastian Korda.
Okay. Yeah.
No big headline, but apparently, and I saw this on, I think, ATP or Tennis TV, Christian Ruud, Casper's dad, also beat Peter Korda, Sebastian's dad, I think in Madrid, or at least on the clay, like 30 years ago. Is that not crazy?
They can't break the Korda's got to step up, man. They got to break the curse.
Yeah, it's just it's funny to see. I don't know how you feel about athletes like when they're parents and kids playing both professional. Like, do you think it would be like in some sports? I think it's definitely makes it your life easier. Like if your dad's LeBron James, I do think Bronny, not just because of the genetics, but like you just have an advantage, even just being in like the same house as someone with that greatness, learning about seeing the game. Obviously,
Right.
you're wealthy, so you have all the access to it. I wonder how much that helps in tennis. Like, I don't know.
For sure. It seems like, and it's, it's a case by case situation for sure, because Rude's relationship with his dad, at least from what I saw when I was at IMG when Sebastian was there, like, dude, Peter Korda is an intimidating dude.
Yeah.
Just off of, like, when you don't talk to him. Now, once you
Right.
talk to him, you're like, "Oh, this guy," you would really enjoy hanging out with him. He's funny,
Right.
he's quick, and he's the ultimate competitor. But I remember when I was first getting into filming some of these tennis guys, I was filming Sebastian,
Mm.
and I'm younger, not as confident in myself, and I'm just thinking, "Oh my gosh, like, do not get in the way of Peter, or I'm
Yeah.
about to get chewed out." He's got that, you know, not Russian background, but, like, the Eastern
East,
European,
Eastern European. Yeah.
and, he's very intense. And then when you see Rude and his dad, Rude's dad is like, "Well, he's ranked higher than me. Like, I don't know. I can't tell him much anymore. He's already
Yeah.
surpassed me."
Yeah.
So it's kind of funny to see the different dynamics.
Yeah.
And Rude has had more success than Sebastian. Sebastian has been very successful in
Yeah.
his own right. But yeah, it's so tough to say. I feel like it more depends on the kid than it does the dad.
Yeah, I think those are the only two I can think of, like father-son combos like that I
Which
know
is
of
kind of
currently.
shocking to me, because I feel like in
Oh, no,
tennis
Ben
there
I
would
guess
be
Ben
more.
Shelton. Ben
Yeah,
Shelton. Um, but yeah, like I think it would help because you have if your dad's coaching you, like he's actually like if you're trying to come up through the juniors, he would have come up through the juniors. If you're playing on the futures tour and
right.
these like he knows he's like I've been here. This is how I was thinking. This is how you got to think, et cetera, et cetera. When you have a dad like a regular dad, like he's telling you stuff, but he doesn't know. Like he's like if he's
Exactly.
never played high level tennis, he's just like, hey, go get him, son.
I
But
know.
you might have a coach,
Dude,
whatever.
I know we've said it before, but I have got to freaking I would love to attend a Corda Thanksgiving dinner. Like, I wonder if they just, compare trophies and talk about the year that they've had dominating their sports, and then where the arguments come in.
Yeah. Like I
Nelly
literally
has to be the one. Like, she has trumped all of her dad's accomplishments. Obviously, she's ahead of Sebastian. Her sister was really good, but had the kid.
yeah.
So Nelly is the king of the Corda family for
Yeah,
sure.
and I literally just saw her post a video with Tiger Woods, like, about breaking down how to score from inside 100 yards in golf, so it's like, yeah, Nelly's just probably trashed she's just letting everyone know at the dinner
Yeah.
table that, right now, I'm the queen of the castle,
No,
um,
I love it.
which is
But yeah,
hilarious.
a lot of
But,
good stuff going on in Madrid. A lot of
I think
things. What's that?
yeah, I was gonna say, like, the big news out of Madrid is Djokovic losing early, I think, so far, um, on the men's side at least, like, what I didn't watch that match either. It's become one of these things, JP, that's just like it's a repeat. He was saying after the match, he's like, I had hoped to play one more match in Monte Carlo. I come here,
Right.
and now it seems to be switching from trying to win every tournament I'm playing to just trying to like win the first match I'm playing and win matches here on the ATP tour. And he said, quote, um, yeah, it's kind of a new reality for him. So I'm
Mhm.
wondering what you think on like and what the audience thinks. Like, is this a
Yeah.
new reality? Like we just saw him make the Miami Open final, lose there as well. But is the new reality here trying to win matches more than tournaments?
I think so, and I think it does come down to your body. Like, you get older, and LeBron, it's like one of the only people you can really compare him to is LeBron, because LeBron's an older guy
Yeah,
playing in the NBA, and even then, it's LeBron is an athlete that the world has never seen before.
yeah,
So he's out there giving 40 minutes a night, still scoring 25 a game. But you hear him talk about it like some nights he can go get the alley oop, other nights he's letting it come down and he's laying it up. And I
yeah,
feel like that's exactly where Djokovic is. There's tournaments where he feels like he's going to be able to bring down the alley oop, lift a trophy, get to the final. And there's some where he just can't. You can't get going, and it's hard when you get older. It's harder to get going. So it's almost like Djokovic has better chances later in the tournaments than he does in the beginning because he's more in flow.
yeah. I agree with that. I think like and it's always a fast start, especially when you're older. Like
Right.
Matteo Arnaldi, you're like people who don't know are like, oh, he's like not a huge name in the tour, but he's great on clay. He's big. I think he's actually taller than Djokovic, like just
Mhm.
from watching the highlights that I was watching. And he was playing super aggressive, huge, moves around the court. And I think all these players have more confidence now playing against Djokovic than they did before that. Oh, I can get a
Right.
win here. I can get my career win that I'm going to hang my hat on now. And yeah, the tour's deep. Like I don't know if there's ever been a time where it's this deep. I did just see Francis Tiafoe on the Changeover podcast. He just did an interview with them, and he was saying that they asked him this question, and he said that he thinks the tour is way deeper now than it was back when the big three were playing. He said like maybe like the top 5 or top 10 was better than the top 5 or top 10 now.
Right.
But then he thought like, he's like, man, I'm playing the guy 50 in the world, like Arnaldi. I haven't even looked him up. I don't even know who he is. And then I'm like in a 5th set at the French Open, like, man, I'm about to lose in the first round. And to be fair, that is Tiafoe, who's been less consistent than a lot of the other guys. But
Right.
I think with the elevation of the sport from the big three in general, like how much more money is in it now, the money trickles down. Like, so like the 200th
Right.
guy in the world's making way more now than he was 20 years ago. So he's got better training, better fitness. They're more dialed in. There's been more of a path paved for like excellence in the sport.
Yeah.
Then there's some detriments to that, I think, as well. They're probably like a little bit less personality now, but in general, I think these guys and girls are like so high level, and it is not like, it's not like you're getting scrubs at 100 in the world or 150. You're getting like unbelievable athletes who are training just as hard and with all the same quality that the top guys are.
Right.
So
And
I think
young kids that can just go on a run in a tournament.
for sure.
Obviously, like Fonseca has, he's asserted himself as probably going to be a future star,
Yeah.
but he's not seeded. And it's like, you're Tommy Paul, round of 64. You
Yeah.
get matched up on Fonseca. It's like, I'm the 11th seed for what? This doesn't help me out at all. I got to play Fonseca.
Yeah. Yeah. Why, why even get a ranking? It's like, it's so deep that you might as well all just play in a scatter format. Like, yeah, I
Right.
saw that match. That match was crazy, by the way. I think Fonseca had 2 set points in both sets, and Tommy comes out with the win.
Got to
Experience.
feel good for Tommy.
Love that for Tommy and Brad Stein, his coach. Shout out, big friend of the show. But yeah, I think he's right, JP. Like I think what I said about the top 10 being less kind of all
Right.
time. Like this grouping of players, I think Sinner and Alcaraz are going to be all time. But
Yeah.
and if you maybe like sits past others, but like those, if over 100-year span, you're going to pick out Sinner and Alcaraz.
Right.
Whereas like the other had like 4, like, okay, Federer, Djokovic, Nadal, Murray, like, but I think dropping that to 100, like the disparity of the skill level and physique level is not as high as it, or it's been closer than it ever has to me.
No, I'm with you. I'm trying to pull up right now, like a random 2008 ATP year-end rankings.
Yeah, people can see those, and I've seen there was a great one during Montreal last year, where it was I believe it was the quarterfinals in Montreal, and I think all 8 of the top seeds were there, like in the quarterfinals. So it was just
Right.
like, it was literally all when you do your quarterfinal predictions at the beginning of a tournament, you're like, if everyone makes it, this is what it'll look like. That's
Yeah.
literally what it looked like, and it was like Federer, Djokovic, Berdych, Tsonga, Murray, like just the most dense 8 players you'll ever see. And then people are like, oh, it's way worse now. Because actually in that tournament, like in Montreal, it's like all the top seeds had lost. So it's just a bunch of random names essentially. So it looked
Right.
bad in comparison. But what the point is, below that top 8 or 10 of that bygone era, the talent level now is higher, and you could never have heard of this player, or they're not a big name, but they're just unbelievable, and they can beat a guy like Djokovic because he's Matteo Arnaldi, and he knows how to play, and he's a killer.
Exactly. That's what I want to see who this 20. Yeah, this thing's being annoying, but yeah, it's wild. What next week I'll be more prepared, and I'll bring up 2 separate years, current present day, and then back in the early 2000s, and we'll compare like the 30 through 40th.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's going to be subjective. I don't think there's any way to quantify this, because I don't know. I'm going to look at a guy like Nikolai Davydenko, because there is different eras. What I said is true. Like, if you have more money, more training, there's more everything. Nikolai Davydenko, I'm pretty sure he's one of the only guys to have like a positive head-to-head record against Rafael Nadal. If you've never heard of him, you should. He's like this short Russian guy, kind of had like a balding buzz cut. You know what I mean? Like he's just kind of, I think he was just balding, so he's like, I'm just gonna do it. But always kept a little bit of hair. It's kind
Right.
of like a Russian thing, maybe. But he looked like a gangster, and he was unreal. And I'm just like, put that guy with today's health and nutrition. Or Marat Safin. We got to talk about him he's back with or he's with, I don't even know if we've talked about this on the show, but he's with Andrei Rublev now, and that's crazy for tennis fans.
Well, I mean, I feel like if they were to say, hey, this is probably the top 5 coaches that should not be with Rublev, would he be one of them?
That's a great point. Like, yeah, Marat Safin was not the example of like keeping it together on court or off court. Like on the court, he would smash rackets all the time. He looked like swagged out there. So maybe he looked kind of relaxed in some way. Like he didn't seem like
Right.
scared sometimes. But yeah, it's a great question. Is he good for Rublev?
Because if he's now away from the game, he stepped back and he's looked at his career and said, okay, if I would have done these things differently, if I would have been in this different mind frame, I would be this much more successful. This is where Rublev's at. I can teach him with my own experience. Then it's a perfect match.
Yeah.
But if he's still a maniac,
yeah, like if he can teach him that on the court, then sure. But I've heard like the craziest stories about Marat Safin off the court. I don't know if you've ever heard any of these or looked them up.
I looked him up after we were texting about it. You were like, you would love Safin. Go check out this thread. And I went through the thread. I was like, this guy is a legend. I would have been at every match.
I think there was one. I think it was him. He had like multiple girlfriends in the same box watching a match of his, but like
beast. He was like basically like an NBA player.
Yeah, essentially. Like, and I've heard personal stories of him being out in like Miami. Like we were talking about the players losing early in Miami because they can't handle the party life and then coming to play tennis. Well, he would notoriously party the night before matches. And I heard of one, I forget, I think it was in Miami. A friend of mine was out with him. They ran in the same circles, and they were like, I think one of Marat's like managers or someone's like, can you just go with him? Like, please make sure he doesn't do. So he tried his
He's
best.
like, yeah, I'll go with him for sure.
Yeah, I'll go with him for sure. I don't know what you want me to do. Loses them, finds them later somehow, gets them back to the hotel at 2 or 3 in the morning, just absolutely cooked. Wakes up the next day, goes to training like there's no problem. Plays Federer. It's like the semifinals or quarterfinals or something, and beats Federer. Goes on to the final. And there's just there's no one like that today that's operating at that level of excellence with that level of not preparing at all.
There was it reminds me, I just heard a story of this NBA player. I forget his name, but he was on the Thunder when it was Kevin Durant and Russell Westbrook.
Right.
And he didn't want to be an all-star because he wanted that break to take time for himself. And so he would get 20 points in the first half and he would look at the dude next to him and be like, look up at the scoreboard like, oh no, I'm good. They're like, what you mean you're good? He's like, I'm not trying. If I start scoring like 25, I'm gonna be in the all-star game. And like, I want to be off. Like, wait, what? You're just that good.
Yeah. But it's like some people just like operate differently. Like, right. Like, I think most people are like, Marat, like, why wouldn't you not do that? Why wouldn't you just, if you have the talent to beat Roger Federer hungover, like you could probably be number 1 in the world, like consistently if you just kept it in. But some people just, operate differently. And, but Marat Safin has one of the most, he was the real bad boy of tennis before Nick Kyrgios. And probably had like similar talent levels for sure. Like he I think Marat Safin actually did win a major though. I gotta look this up now.
Let me see too.
Oh yeah, he won 2 majors. So yeah, he's actually at the 2000 US Open and the 2005 Australian Open. So actually a different level than Kyrgios. Like he was Nick Kyrgios before the social media era. And he was just living his life and just being a crazy Russian on the ATP tour.
Man, they should do a like maybe in the day before the tournament starts, the coaches that are still in good shape, there should be like a mini exhibition tournament between the coaches.
Yeah, that would be great. I would wonder who who would win it. Obviously, the ex players I think come to top of mind, but I bet you there's some of these guys who never really played a high level pro, but they
Right.
can cook, and some of them are super fit, right? Because like they have a lot of time
Exactly.
to do that.
It would be their moment. They'd be looking forward to going against Safin if they can. And like,
Oh
oh, I'm
yeah,
about to just run him off the court right now. And I'll have this win forever. I'm gonna tell everybody, oh yeah, I played him before I beat him.
yeah.
You don't
Or
have to tell them it was last week. You can let
yeah,
them think.
they don't ask how, they ask how many.
Exactly.
Yeah,
So
well, that's hilarious. Yeah, that's a great topic that just popped up there. We forgot about Marat Safin, but watching him with Rublev is awesome. But Rublev's he's gotta not be losing to. I don't think he's got to not be losing to Sasha Bublik in Madrid, because that wouldn't make wouldn't make Marat or Rublev happy. Rublev lost to Davidovich Fokina in Barcelona. He lost to uh, Arthur Fils in Monte Carlo. So I think Marat met him in Miami or just after Miami. But
yeah, it was after Miami, I think.
yeah, so maybe just for the clay. But on clay so far, he has 2 wins and 3 losses. So not great so far.
Man, but dude, even just that matchup with Bublik, like imagine just looking at your draw again. We're talking about how deep the field is. You Bublik is like never seeded because of how up and down he is, and
Yeah.
he's a crazy guy as well. But
Right.
it's like,
Yeah.
God, you have to be worried about someone like that sitting there that could beat anybody.
Yeah. Yeah. Nightmare material. And I would love to just, if you had a running commentary of all the thoughts of Rublev, Bublik, and Marat Safin, like what would the intrusive thoughts be during that match with those 3 personalities there? Just like
Just
criminal, I'm
3
sure.
jail sentences from each of them if they were able to carry out their thoughts.
For sure. Oh man, that's great. Well, speaking of carrying out thoughts and intrusive thoughts, I think our commenters have some of them and they put them down on paper underneath our videos, which we love. We love when you guys just, either roast us, love us, or, just let your freaky opinions fly. I don't know if freaky was the right word there, but, just let whatever you think your opinions, your most outlandish ones, fly. And so this is our YouTube comments of the week section where we were going to respond to them. Do you have them up in front of you, JP?
Yes, sir. I can rip the first one right now if we need.
Sounds good.
It is from Lexi Vandrill. Thanks for featuring Eala. Means so much to us. You mean so much to us, Lexi, for being here and supporting the channel. And we truly mean that. And we will continue covering Alex on her journey to the top of women's tennis.
Yeah, you're helping my eye heal. Tic Tac 1 says thumbnail versus video. That's Naruto's talk no jutsu.
I read this the other day and I tried to decipher it because this is anime.
Okay.
And I'm thinking like the jutsu could be so much because there's Jujutsu Kaisen out right now, a newer anime. I also think it's like a type of training that they do in the shows.
Okay.
But I couldn't break it down. So Tic Tac, if you're here right now, please leave another comment explaining the Naruto's talk no jutsu, because I would
Yeah.
love an explanation. Trying to learn
Yeah.
the anime game.
Yeah, word. We couldn't figure it out. The thumbnail was Carlos in the shower, which is a very relevant thumbnail for our topic last week.
Great thumbnail, honestly, Steven. Great call on that.
Appreciate it. Just remembered that one. You got the
Celine
next one?
Garcia is our next comment. She
Okay.
breezed through her first round match. You guys need to check it out. Everyone is talking about the rematch. Iga might have more wins, but getting whooped by Austin Penko leaves Iga more fragile mentality. Alex has lived in Spain a long time. It's her home court also. Maybe I will give Alex the edge. I'm an Alcaraz fan, so I'm biased by leaps and bounds. As for Sinner, my lips are sealed. Great comment, Celine. There's a lot to this comment, which I appreciate.
That was chaotic. The last sentence is just it's just like you could see the train of thought just like spittering off, which I love it. She's like, I'm biased. She lived in Spain. I love Alcaraz. Spain, Alcaraz, and then just as for Sinner, my lips are sealed.
Love it.
Okay. That reminds me of Crazy Stupid Love, that movie. It's like my lips are. You know that one?
What a poll from Crazy Stupid Love. I see you.
Crazy good movie.
Crazy, yeah, one of the best for
Do you
sure.
like? Yeah, I figured you'd like that movie.
Yeah. You know I'm a sucker for some of those movies.
Oh yeah, yeah. That's where I learned like not that I had any game with women, but I thought that that's how I would like it's a joke how he's teaching him how to be with women in there, like how to pick up women. I was like when I was like 15, I was like watching that. I was like, all right, I'm gonna like use these
They'll
ways.
never see it coming.
Yeah, it didn't work. Didn't work at all. Okay, next Geo Air Travel, continue our streak, which it's just been so long now. He says, from what I understand, the shower controversy is not supposed to be a controversy. It is an old ITIA policy. They are clarifying it again to make sure the new tennis players are aware. Just pee and avoid problems. And
It's that simple.
that's what we were saying. Like it was all just a communication error, not a policy error. Great policy.
Great policy. This next one comes from Juliet Farrow 7063. Alex
Yeah.
Eala, I know you're probably watching the show, so thank you for watching. Also, I hope you read this comment from Juliet Farrow because it says, "Go Alex, just enjoy, no pressure. Thank you, the slice."
Love it. Yeah, great comment. Next one from Rowan Madrilejo says, "Vamos, Alex." And I love how you can translate that to English, and everyone should know that means "Let's go, Alex."
Let's go, Alex. Let's go, Alex.
I love "Vamos"
Next one
because I
is
wouldn't know what "Vamos" meant in Spain unless I watched tennis in Spanish because it's
Spanos,
a great
baby.
word like "Vamos."
I know, one of the best. Next one comes from Andy D. 8542. Waiting for Eala Swiatek rematch. No pressure for Eala, win or lose. We always got her back. That is your job as a fan, man. Andy, you're doing a
Yeah.
great job as a fan. Through the wins and losses, you have their back. You never slander them. You only support them.
Yeah, respect, major respect. We got one here from Pocket Match, another one of our regulars. He says, this is great. JP should hurry up and have a baby. Then he can raise him to be a tennis prodigy. Hopefully it's a boy, and him and Shepard can be rivals growing up and eventually become the new Alcaraz Sinner rivalry.
I can guarantee one thing from this is that Steven and I would both be ecstatic if this is what happened with our kids because I wouldn't be recording it in this second bedroom in the apartment. Steven would be in a full built out studio. So Pocket Match, I hope you are correct.
I hope you're correct. I would love to see. I'm always going to believe in my son. I'm not going to doubt him at 7 months old because he is jacked. I would say he's pulling himself up on things. He's running around. He's got big upper body muscles and strong legs. But JP is going to have those genes from his wife's mother, who was like a
It's true.
pro, who played in all the majors. So that's just we were just talking about it, hereditary, tennis genes, and JP's little boy would have that. So we'd be, let's just say we'd be starting from a lower position. So we the chip on our shoulder would be there.
You'd have a couple years where my kid's not up on the main tour yet, though, because he'd be a little bit younger.
True.
This also sounds like the plot of an anime. Just throwing
Yeah.
that out there. Rivals are big in the anime game,
Word.
so
Yeah.
maybe they'll turn it into a TV show also.
Shout out
Um,
Pocket Match. Nice one.
the next one is Fun Night 56. The shower thing makes me think people are doping with creams or patches.
Mm.
Creams is an interesting choice there because we know that the cream is what center was. That's been the whole thing in the center
Yeah.
case, but yeah, fun
But
night maybe. I
hey,
guess we
you know
got to
what?
eat. Maybe you should apply. If you could become a drug tester, you tell us what's going on in the showers.
Yeah, well, and then you can tell us what the process is to be hired as a drug tester because we wanted to figure that as well. But who you can't ask about center is Celine Garcia. Her lips are sealed.
Right, exactly.
Don't ask her.
Don't ask.
Last one. Yikes! The piss test. Cringy. That's from Paul Dyna.
Yeah.
And then Fun Night 56 replied to that saying, totally. Where do they get these drug testers? The Chicago public school system?
Crazy shot at the Chicago
Yeah.
public school system.
The Chicago public school system taking a stray bullet. No pun intended.
Nope. Yeah. Ooh, Chicago. Shout out Chicago, man.
Shout out Chicago. Hey, it's real. But yeah, I don't know where that reference came from.
Yeah, truthfully, I would be more going the like Arkansas route, Mississippi. I believe though Arkansas, Mississippi, Louisiana. I think they're the lowest 3 public school systems in the U.S.
Is that right?
But I get the Chicago thing. Fun night. Solid joke on you, honestly.
See, that's what I said. I would like leave your craziest thoughts down below, and we got a few of them today. I thought that was great. I love how Pocket Match is saying if JP can hurry up and have a kid, you got to hurry up, JP.
I know, man. Soon, 2026.
2026. You know, if you start now, I think 2026 is very doable. Start.
Yeah, 100%. But
So
yeah, we'll save that for later.
we'll save that for later. And I'm gonna go put some more like ice on my eye or whatever I'm supposed to be doing, and get this thing healed up. You know, it's actually healed up pretty good. Doesn't look that bad on camera, I don't think, does it?
Nah, you'd have to be pretty. You got to be watching us full screen on your TV, which you should be doing anyways. But actually, that's a great point. Pull this episode up on your TV, put it in full screen, and let Steven know if you could see his spatula eye.
You definitely could. It's I actually saw in our YouTube analytics a lot of there's like I want to say off the top of my head somewhere between 10 and 30% of the people who watch our shows watch it on a TV, like a smart TV.
That's awesome.
Which is actually sick because when I pull it up on a smart TV, I go, that's kind of cool. Like there's just something about it being on a TV that you're looking at, like your own face. You're like, I'm on TV.
If you want to make our week, take a photo of you watching the slice and post it on your Instagram or Twitter and tag us. We will 1,000,000% reshare it. 100%. And you will make our week so everybody wins. That would be awesome if somebody could do that.
Shout out to the viewers. Yes, please do that. Please subscribe if you haven't. We're on the road to 21,000. And I think that's all I got, JP.
That's all I got. This has been another great episode of the Slice Tennis Podcast, hosted by your favorite Canadian and your favorite American and the favorite sponsor, Betway. We will see you guys next week.
See you.